Paxley is the new NXT Women's Champion. 100% exactly what I think we all wanted to see, but didn't expect to see. I think we all thought there was going to be major shenanigans, and they definitely teased it. The final moments of the match, it looked like Izzi was going to hit Tatum with the championship, but of course Tatum got out of the way. She did then look like she was going to hit JC as well, so the intentions of Izzi Dame are completely unknown at this point. One thing I will say is when it comes to like December and everyone's trying to pick their favourite matches of the year, remember this one, because this was absolute gold. The crowd were red hot, totally emotionally invested in this match, and of course booing and cheering. But it was this moment, the crowning of Tatum as women's champion. Oh man, that is going to be immortalised in my brain forever. And I have to say this, shout out to Vic Joseph for putting in that My Chemical Romance reference as Tatum won the title. That was really cool. This is things you might have missed from NXT's Halloween Havoc. Make sure you hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button too. The Broken Hardys were here tonight in the co-main event of the show, and yes, Jeff Hardy was wearing the Fiend-inspired face paint once again. I thought this was a really nice touch to do this on WWE TV and at Halloween Havoc. Really cool. Jeff's in-ring attire was also all red as well, which I'm sure is no coincidence with Bray Wyatt being the colour red in a world of black and white. It is just a shame, though, that WWE still had Woken on the Tron for the Broken Hardy Boys. Ah, man. We would see Darkstate win this match. Darkstate regaining the NXT Tag Team Championships. I suppose that makes sense. Probably the reason the TNA tag titles were not on the line. What a match, though. Genuinely, all four men brought their A game. We saw these amazing custom tables, and the Hardys, well, they did Hardy Boy things. Of course they did. But it was this spot by Jeff. Look at the height of Jeff Hardy, and no one was home. Jeff crashing through those tables. That had to hurt. I don't even know how Jeff was able to stand after that, let alone take another table spot with a doomsday device by Darkstate, allowing Dion Lennox to pin Jeff Hardy. Javon Evans and Leon Slater were successful in the first match at Halloween Havoc, and they beat Mr Iguana and La Parka. But something I do want to talk about, because I looked on social media after the match and it's all I saw people talking about, which is really sad. The botch. Mr Iguana did not catch Leyeska as he was diving through the air. If that is your level of pettiness when you're watching wrestling to try and find fault with it, I don't know what to tell you. I feel sorry for you. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a banger to be an opener of the show. And if you're vintage like me, you'll know this was very reminiscent of WCW. WCW used to open the shows with the cruiserweights, and that's what I feel like WWE were going for here. There was some silly stuff, yes, there was. But you know what? I like a bit of silly in wrestling. You know that by now. Well, it was Leon Slater that pinned Mr Iguana that would pick up the win for his team. Vic Joseph even dressed up for tonight's festivities. He came as the Riddler. Booker T, I thought his costume was great. He looks just like Booker T. Well done. NXT announced tonight on November 18th and November 25th. NXT Gold Rush, where championships from Evolve, from AAA, from TNA, and NXT will be defended over a 2-week event. I'm excited for that. A bloodied Ethan Page would be successful tonight as he defeated Dr. Wagner Jr. to retain the North American Championship. A really good, Extreme Rules match was the Day of the Dead match. A great spot during the match was when Ethan Page would rip the mask of Dr. Wagner Jr. And I love how this got an audible reaction from the audience as well. Now, I'm sure they did this as a tribute to Rey Mysterio's mask being ripped at Halloween Havoc. by Eddie Guerrero, especially with Dr. Wagner Jr.'s attire being a tribute to the attire that Rey Mysterio wore on that very night. To me, the only downside of this match was the atmosphere they tried to build by turning the lights off and only having the spotlights in the ring. Like, in the ring, it was brighter than it was outside the ring, but outside the ring, it was very hard to see. Bride of Chucky look tonight for Blake Monroe as she walked into battle against Zaria for Sol Ruca's North American Championship. And I thought they told a really good story here. Blake would work Zaria's arm throughout most of the match, and then we'd see Zaria seemingly dislocate her shoulder, and I thought Sol Ruca was going to turn on Zaria, but actually no. What she was doing was popping the shoulder of Zaria back in place. Although, I do think this should have been a disqualification. But what, would that mean Blake Monroe was the one that got DQ'd? Well, it's a good thing she didn't, because after an accident that definitely wasn't an accident would see Sol Ruca taken down on the outside, Zaria became distracted, checking on her friend rather than focusing on Blake Monroe. And of course, that allowed Blake Monroe to take advantage and pin Zaria right in the eye line of Sol Ruca. We have a new North American Women's Champion. I do think this was the right decision. I think Blake Monroe's work and character has been absolutely outstanding since coming to WWE. It was prior to as well, but obviously in NXT, it has been absolutely perfect. And I think giving her a championship this early is a very good sign. But what does this mean now for Zaruka? How does Sol Ruca feel at Zaria losing her championship? At Zaria taking her eye off the prize? I don't know. We've wondered for a while if this duo could break up. Maybe this is like the catalyst that lights that fire. We'll have to wait and see. Can we give Mike Rome some kind of award for this, please? This Art the Clown costume, absolutely perfect. Love the sunglasses. Jordynne Grace even turned up as Velma from Scooby-Doo, and of course Kalani Jordan is dressed as a playing card. Oh, I don't know if that's like a Queen of Hearts or something I don't obviously understand, but it looked really cool. Missed opportunity though from Kalani Jordan, because if she had just used aces and eights, being a TNA Knockouts champion, that could have been a fun reference. Now I know there would be certain limitations due to licensing and stuff like that, but in the old days of NXT, they used to do a costumed battle royal for Halloween at a live event. Why can't we incorporate something like this into Halloween Havoc? One for the men, one for the women. Why can't that be a staple for NXT at Halloween Havoc? Come on. It wouldn't be Halloween without a wrestling move being performed on Vic Joseph's candy. You know that makes sense. Of course, this took place in our main event, Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship, which would see Ricky Saints retain the NXT title. We'd finish with a bit of a strange ending, as Tatum Paxley would tell us if you thought NXT was crazy, it's going to get a whole lot crazier this Tuesday. I kind of wish that Tatum versus JC was the main event, not going to lie. That would have been the banger moment, to end the show with. Thoroughly enjoyed tonight's show. I thought it was an absolute instant classic. That Tatum Paxley victory was huge. For me, a respectable 9 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace!